Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, everyone?
ورحمة الله وبركاته.
The bad boys is back. So welcome. I guess everyone know who Abuamerican is and Mahdi Tijani. We got two new members here. We will start by introducing themselves for our audience. Mr. Nasser, we can start from you.
Look. I have to say this, Habib. Where I'm from, we have to go beauty before age, and Muhammad is more beautiful than I, mashallah.
It's
I've
dapperness.
never.
Where we're from in London, it's dapperness before anything else, akhi. MashaAllah.
Look, this is the thing. The wisdom let me know that you were going to say that, Habib. So I'm ready for you. I can never go before somebody whose name is Muhammad.
SubhanAllah. You got me there.
Okay, go ahead, bro, Muhammad.
Hayakumullah wa zidka fil khair. So, Ikhwan, this is Muhammad from London. Essentially, how I got into this space, subhanAllah, was through a viral marketing campaign, which was now the app is called Muz. It was essentially finding Malik a wife, right? Essentially, and I became this weird digital watering hole, essentially, for people to understand their issues, and a lot of the topic we're discussing today as well. It's come my way. A lot of brothers, subhanAllah, who've lost hope in marriage altogether because of various ideologies, isms, and schisms that are nothing to do with our deen, which is affecting and polluting the mindsets of brothers and sisters alike. So, subhanAllah, I got myself into this space, being just out there, I guess. And initially started off with a live that we did. A shout out to Sister Naima Robert, where I met a beautiful brother, Nasser Al-Amin, and a few others, alhamdulillah. And before that, Brother Mahdi and Abuamerican, mashallah, they've been, inspiring me to understand and learn more in this space. So I'm really learning with you, brothers, inshallah. I'm not somebody, mashallah, I look up to you, brothers, particular, mashallah, you brothers over here, and somebody, Mahdi's been a real mentor for me as well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase. And obviously, Brother Nasser and Brother Craig as well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase you in khair wallahi.
Barakallah feek, akhi.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So, Nasir Al-Amin, I am a cognitive behavioral coach. My background is in psychology and social work, and I help people understand their emotions, how to regulate their emotions. Ironically enough, my population is mainly Muslim women, right? UK, Canada, and the States. Oftentimes, the brothers that come and work with me are via their wife or brothers that are looking to get married. So that's how I got into this space.
So you're a CBT coach, Nasser, huh?
Yeah. So my background and my studies were all in CBT.
That's very interesting. I'm very interested in the CBT in general.
Yeah. And I think with this particular topic, and so I come from the core of CBT. The core of CBT is REBT, Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy, and the founder of that, the way that he kind of formulated his modality is kind of in line with what we're talking about, because he had this fear of approaching women. And so that's how he got over it, is by what he would call shame attacking techniques, where he would just go out, and he had a thing. One summer in New York, in Brooklyn, he was just going to talk to 100 women. And no matter what his thinking was, he was just going to do it. And so that helped him get over the anxiety he had and the hurt that he had in relation to rejection from women. So it's interesting that, we're having this conversation right now, because I think CBT is one element that I think the brothers are missing.
Okay, that's very interesting, because I prefer to like my profession as a life coach is behavioral adjustment. And I do use CBT like from time to time. Like it's very efficient. It's very efficient method to deal with people behavior in general.
So
okay, so welcome everybody again. Yusuf, ya akhi, long time, Yusuf. Assalamu alaikum ya akhwan. Wa alaikum assalam, Yusuf. You're most welcome, guys. Okay, the comments, guys, gonna be in English. ما تكتبوا تعليقات عربي. English. Okay, so leave it at English, and I will start. I prepared some like some gems, some knowledge, like some real things here. I got around eight studies in the description, guys, and I will give an introduction and my arguments against the black pillars in general, or the black pill ideology, like way of thinking, and we will go from there. Okay. I hear some echo, guys. If you can mute, yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so for who does not know what black pill is, it is a way of thought. You can say it is an ideology. It is not an accurate like description to call it an ideology, but it have a lot of in common with the definition of ideology. So black pill, as everybody know, or like who knows about black pill knows, it is a biological determinism. Biological determinism, like fatalism, genetic lottery. You will hear a lot about like this guy, like in the black pill sphere, let's say, like for the better for the lack of better terms. In the black pill sphere, you will hear a lot about the Chad, Giga Chad, like he's blessed from genetic point of view. He have a biological advantage. Okay, so the main way of school of thought of, like, if they have school, because I do not consider it school, is that if you have the blessing from biological standpoint, or if you have like a good gene, a superior gene among the other average and below average men, so your chances of finding a potential mate goes up like tremendously, and you will be real blessed by getting these genes. And what do they concentrate on? Which is the facial symmetry. The facial symmetry, like there's a specific ratios and dimensions for the jawline, for the eyes, generally speaking, for the bone structure, the muscle structure, the height is a major and important let's say factor in the black pill school of thought. So if you have these specific advantages, as they say, and by the way, all of them is determined by genes. That means like you have nothing to do about it. Like you will be born with it or you don't have it. Like you can't fix it up. You can't fix your genes. Like we, at least with modern knowledge, we cannot until now, like as an adult, you can't fix your gene. They're still doing some researches on fixing your potential offspring genes, but you can't do it to yourself until now. So their point of view that if you do not have this height, for example 6 foot plus, if you do not have this wide jaw, if you do not have this hunter eyes, if you do not have this wild shoulder with the good physical, let's say, visual look, so you will fail. You will fail, or your opportunity of being success will be decreased, like in decreased a lot. So what do I have against that? What do I have against that? Like, I don't want to get around like 20 to 50 studies to formulate my argument. I got only eight, and I believe it's most of it are very important and very strong to support my argument. Uh, the woman as a creature is not visual as men. So I believe like this is basic understanding even for awam, for like regular people who do not like read a lot and check for researches and studies. Uh, Men are interested in how woman looks a lot. but from female point of view, it is not like, I'm not denying that it is important, but it is not that important as they say it is.
Can I jump in here?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, Abuamerican.
We know that women have, and I always say pre-selection is king.
Mm,
Pre-selection is when she sees you and she does have an attraction to you. I mean, women do have a visual aspect to liking a man, but
mm,
the issue is these are factors that a man can control. He can work out. He can go to the gym. He doesn't have to be skinny armed or tubby or whatever else. These are not things that are going to give you the pre-selection, signals, or what they call selecting signals from a woman.
mm.
So even though they say that yes, it could be true, it's absolutely true. I will if I work out and a 5'5" guy works out. I'm 6'3" basically, and
MashaAllah.
we're standing next side to side. Yes, women will have a preferential, on an instant short level, unless I fall outside of her preferences. Yes, she might like say, okay, this guy's taller, he's more attractive. But that's not what we're looking for here now, are we? Basically, we're looking for you as an individual. And it's like you said, Coach Kareem, it's absolutely true that women have far more attraction markers than men do. So
Yeah.
men, we go off a very quick, instantaneous visual, and then we look afterwards. Women, they do the same thing, but they're also looking for, like, this is when they start asking questions. What's your job? What do you do? This, that, the other. And they're trying to, now women start looking for disqualifiers. You pass the basic pre-selection. Now she
Mm.
starts looking for disqualifiers. What's your job? Oh, he's a doctor. Okay. Well, what about this? And then they start to ask you these goofy questions and whatever else, trying to see if you're socially inept and all these other types of things that might be an embarrassment to her. So yeah, fair enough. They might have a small point, but most of their points can be rectified with just personal discipline. It's my take.
Yeah, yeah. Let me go through the studies. It is all in the description, guys. Like I gathered for you a lot of like information based on scientific studies. So the first study, you will find them like by the numbers as I will read them. The first study in the description says most women find most men unattractive economically, unattractive from economic point of view. So that is the main reason that most women find most men unattractive. Did they mention the jawline? No. Did they mention the height? No. Did they mention the eyes? No. So that's a great point. And the link of the study, it will be under number one. The second one says that woman views male feminist as less masculine than other men. Again, and that study like will piss a lot of male feminists. That study from a Norwegian university in Oslo, it is in common between two universities, two psychological professors in Oslo University and in another university in Norway. So it says woman views male feminist as less masculine than other men. Who's the male feminist? He's the simp who support women whatever they want them to support him, whatever they want him to support them. So who wear like the vagina hats, the pink flags, the rainbow flags, walk with them, just like shouting whatever they want, support abortion, blah blah blah, bullshit, blah, all of this garbage bullshit. He supports them in that. They view this man as less masculine, and they view the other man like me, like our brothers. We don't believe in equality bullshit. We don't support this rights because we have moral background. We have moral standards. So we do not follow the mainstream, the liberal leftist mainstream like narrative. They view us as more masculine than the male feminist. Did they mention if the male feminist is Chad or not? No, they didn't mention that. Doesn't matter. Like he's less masculine in their eyes in general. If he's tall or short, doesn't matter. He's unattractive. So this is the second study. The third one, promoted women are more likely to divorce their husband. Why? It is a major factor of it's a major factor is the woman income and the man income. On average, women are attracted to men who earn 58% or more than them. So what will happen if they both married, they're both working, and they love each other? If the woman got promotion, she gained like extra 10 to 20,000 per year. What, like the probability of her getting divorced rocketing up to the sky. Why? Because he's unattractive from economical point of view. She's the more stronger one in this relationship. Does it mention if he's Chad or not? No. Does it mention like the jawline? No, it does not. So this is the major point, as we know. As we know, money, game, frame, money, muscle, game, frame, money, muscle, game, frame. All is around that. Okay. So this is the third one about the promotion and the increase of female income and the stability of marriage. The fourth one, the fourth study, it says the 8 reasons 90% of women are attracted to men who is taken. 90% of women is attracted to men who already got a partner. He's already married. So here we are talking about one woman. Like imagine Abuamerican who married three. Like it's gonna be 99%. It's not gonna
Shout
be
out to
90%.
cowife.com.
So why is that? Because we know from studying the intersexual dynamic that men with social proof is more attractive for women. So women do not like to take risk. Men with women, and the woman is happy with them and she's staying with him, that's a good indicator that he's a good man treating women. He's more safe option than a single man who never been with a woman for long-term relation. That's how they think about it. That's a social proof. Women love this man and they stay with this man. It means he have a lot of good traits as a partner. So this is the fourth one. The fifth one, it is a study on the effect of manipulated prestige, specifically the car ownership on both sex attractiveness rating. And here in this study, it is number 5 in the description. Here in this study, they gather a group of men and a group of women, and they show them pictures of the other sex. Like the man, they showed them women and attractive women, and for the women, they showed them attractive men, like with luxury car and without luxury car. So the same, like the same level of physical attractiveness. The only one thing is different is a luxury car or with no car to measure the effect of a luxury car on the attractiveness of male and female. And they found out that a luxury car is a major factor on male attractiveness. It is a major factor. So it is like it can be a break dealer for a lot of women. Like if a man do not have a car or have like a very cheap looking car. So for the woman, like and that's stunning. That's stunning. For the woman, it is like the effect is zero. Like if a woman have a car, do not have a car, she ride train, she got a train, she got a bicycle, or she got a Lamborghini, it is the same. We do not care, we do not care about the status of a woman. The
Can I just
sixth,
say, none of us has seen a woman go by and be like, look at that PhD on her, or look at that, and look at that sports back, look at that
yeah,
hatchback. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah. And Oprah can have like 5 Rolls Royce. Will I marry marry Oprah? Hell no. No, I don't care if she have 500 million. I do not care. I need young, fertile, beautiful with the high moral background, high moral standard. So I do not care about how much money she had. The sixth one, it did the same type of study, but on the apartment that the other six have. Which, if you have a good house, or if you have like very cheap like a studio, in the background of their pictures, and they found out the same. It is a major factor in male attractiveness. If he got his picture and behind him is like a great lobby of his house, or like a big mansion or something. For the woman, the effect is zero. Men do not care. Men do not care a lot.
I just
They
want to
think,
add to that, Coach Kareem, if you don't mind, on that
yeah, yeah,
point
yeah.
there
Go
of
ahead.
pictures, because that's a really good point. Like, I've had a few brothers send me their marriage CVs. I was speaking to Muhammad about this the other day, and some of them attach their photos. Wallahi, yani, bro, like, I can barely stand to look at this. Why are you sending me a photo with the camera is right underneath your chin here, like this? Yeah, I can see all three of your chins. Okay, and there's some dusty background, bro. It's like you're at the rubbish tip or something. Like, it's not thinking. Yeah, it's that background is important, man. It has a halo effect for better and for worse. And you just have a look at your surroundings a little bit before you send me these photos, please, brothers.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Okay, so the seventh study, number 7, it says wife job status and marriage stability. They studied the effect of wife job status and the marriage stability, regardless of how the man looks. If the woman have a higher status, higher position as a designation in the job than her husband, she gain more money than him, then the marriage stability will decrease instantly. So that's the seventh study. The eighth one, because a lot of black pillars got their study from a self-reporting surveys, and that's not a reliable source of information. It is not a good data. Because why? The eighth study, and I have like several studies confirming the same thing. It studies the sexually arousing factors among the two sexes, the man and women. So they ask the females, and they ask the males, what does arouse you in other sex? And they listed like number of things. Like the females, they listed number of things. Like every single one of them listed number of things, like 3 things or 4 or 5 things. Like that will arouse me. And the men listed their things, and they show them pictures, haram pictures to test, and they connected some electrodes on the mind part, who's dedicated for arousal, and to their genitalia to measure their reaction, their physical reaction. So
The
what
blood flow.
man yeah
Blood
yeah
flow, yeah.
yeah. The men's, they got aroused by the same thing that they says they're aroused to. It means, for example, like some man says like I like big breast, big boobs. They show him big boobs, he got aroused. It is the same. He's saying the truth. But for most women, they says they get aroused by things. When they test them, when they show them these things, they're not aroused by, they're
Yeah.
aroused by other things.
Can I comment on this? This is actually, it's a
Yeah.
BBC documentary. It's called Secrets of the Sexes, and it's actually quite good. They don't show you what they show them, but this study that they did, basically what they did was they questioned men and women about their attractiveness, and men were turned on by heterosexual intercourse and female on female action, and women were generally turned on by everything they looked at, including bestiality. That is in that research. And this goes back to something I was just saying, where I don't want to, drag the conversation off, but it is pertinent to this conversation for these, doom and gloom type of guys, is that, and basically men are more randy and women are more open. Just so, guys. Yeah.
Because women generally speaking, like they will not tell you something that is not politically correct. They will not tell you, for example, I like to get whipped. No, they will not tell you, I like to be dominated. I'm aroused by that. They will be shy. That's why most of women is politically correct. They care a lot about what people think of their reaction. We as a man, we are more rude. We are not that polite as females. Like
There's
I
another element
say,
to it as well. There's another element to it, and Rollo actually talks about it in his book, The
yeah,
Rational Male,
go
which I
ahead.
only finally just got.
I'm
I
done,
only
by the
just
way, guys. Go ahead.
Yeah, I only just managed to read The Rational Male literally now. It's been on my reading list for a long time. And he mentioned something very interesting in there. You might have heard him say in the past, observing the process changes the process. And you mentioned just now, Coach Kareem, that women will often not admit to wanting being dominated. And part of that is connected to the fact that if I have to tell you what to do to me, you're no longer behaving spontaneously. Now I've given you the cheat codes. It's not the same anymore. You know,
Mm.
I've told you what's coming up in the exam. Of course, you're going to pass. It's not the same. I want you to pass the exam, the test, without me telling you. And he mentions it in one of the chapters of his book of women want men to just get it. You need to just get it. So yeah, I mean, and this is why it's so important to bear in mind or remember the euphemism. If you want to catch a fish, you don't ask a fish how to catch a fish. You go speak to the fisherman.
Exactly. Abuamerican, do you have anything to add for that?
Yeah, in general, I mean, I got stuff to add. I mean, with this black pillars, I mean, when we talk about black pillars, they're talking about obviously the biology of it all, you know. But I actually have a more comprehensive definition of black pill. It's anybody who's just basically giving up because he just finds everything too hard in regards to women, the intersexual dynamics, and how it's changed. And really, I find it problematic that a lot of these guys are out here complaining about the changes because they haven't experienced the changes. It's like a girl that's 18 asking where are all the good men at. It's like, you, what men? Who, your dad? What are you talking about? You know, so the guys are the same way. What are you talking about? Women have changed. You weren't dating women that acted like your mother or marrying them. What are you talking about? These are the women you know. They're the women of your generation. You know, now I'm not saying that we got to accept every and anything that comes with it, but it's like, this is what we're seeing right now. This is the new frontier in terms of like the actual world. So 1500 years ago, 2000 years ago, if it was just too hard, guess what? You got ate by a bear or a tiger or a raiding tribe killed you. Well, on for us right now on a micro level, but on a macro level, it's societal now. This is the new survival territory. And if you don't have the social, aptitude to actually adapt, guess what? You get wiped out. You don't get to have kids. So this is the only thing that's changed is it's no longer deadly to not be able to not have that wherewithal as a man to stick it out and figure out what you have to do. It's gone from the physical to the mental and the social. And it is a direct reflection of your ability to process and think about situations, solutions, and whatever else. Women are actually the easiest part of the puzzle. But guys, why are they making it difficult? Going back to what I said initially, they're making it difficult because they have this idea and concept in their head that no longer exists. I'm sorry, your mom's not out there. You can't marry her.
Yeah, I mean, this is it's a multifaceted issue. Firstly and foremostly, especially if you live in the West, but increasingly now there's more economically developed countries that are developing. And the irony of development and comfort is that good times create weak men, right? Bottom line, everyone knows that. So when you have good times, great, fantastic. You've got water in the tap, you've got a toilet that flushes, and so on and so forth. But then the environment makes you soft and it makes you less tolerant towards failure. You see? Now, if we couple that with the fact that this same comfort that we live in is also afforded to women, and this is where I will grant the black pill is some oxygen, if you like, in that women can afford to be, excuse me, a bit more choosy today because previously, a woman's life depended upon her marrying as quickly as possible. Hence why women would get married at a very young age. If a father had 5 or 6 daughters, he literally had 5 or 6 liabilities. I need to get my daughters married off quickly. You see? And girls just they could not afford to be as picky back then because my life depends on this. I need to get married now. Okay, so I will grant the black pillars some oxygen and say, okay, fine, it's harder. But guess what? You've got water in the tap, you've got a toilet that flushes. Pick your hard. You can't have it all, you know. And like Abuamerican says, it does reach a point where it's like, okay, this is the situation. What are you gonna do about it? Because بصراحة يعني, you don't have a choice. Wallahi. I can grant you oxygen and acknowledge points that you have made and so on and so forth. Now what? What's next? What's next? Because يعني, what? Okay, stay single forever. I don't know what. What do you want to do? Sit here and moan all day long?
Yeah, it is more nihilistic because you cannot. There's certain things that you can't change. Uh, like for example, your bone structure of your face. Like I do not choose that. I do not change that. Like except if you are willing to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for like plastic surgeries, like self-centered hoes who do that. Like I'm not that guy. No. So I'm not. So I can't change my bone structure. I can't change my height. I'm slightly above average. Like if I'm like 6'3", like American, that would be better. Yeah. Can I change that? No. What do? I will cry every single day. Look at the mirror and cry every single day because I can't be 6'3". No,
You know,
no, of course not.
and one of the things that makes me, and I don't want to dominate the conversation, guys. Excuse me if I'm over, over interacting here. But let me just say, on this panel, we have a brother that's absolute proof of what I was just talking about, what Matthew was just talking about. What are we going to do? This brother came out with a whole campaign. He was on billboards. It's genius. You can't tell me this brother's inbox isn't flooded with like just bents like, yo, what's up? Use your head. This brother, I never thought of that. And I'm Abuamerican sitting here on the panel with four wives. I was like, that's genius. I was like, that is genius. Did it work, bro? Do you get proposals? You got to tell me. Did it work?
Just for the record, it was a marketing campaign for the company itself,
Okay,
but
still.
100% tactics. You have to have tactics. This itself was an experiment. You can say it was an experiment. It was something that was set up by the company, but 100% being creative with it. One thing that I think we're missing out, but potentially when I was doing my research, I'm a startup guy, right? Somebody who's been in research. Brother Mehdi as well, mashallah, he's been in marketing. He's understands the idea of customer development, these type of things. When I did my research once, when Kareem, you shared that on the Telegram group, we're seeing patterns emerge of thinking, which are, first of all, number one is if I'm in the looks bracket, the sub 5 they call it in the black pill space, there's no hope for me unless I work on that, and they call it looks maxing. And if you look at it technically, Akhi Kareem, you can chisel your jawline a bit more by doing jaw exercises and working out things like that. You can. So to the point that Akhi Craig mentioned, Abuamerican, is that you can work on all these things. But my question to the brothers, without going into all the detail, which I went in a bit kind of nerdy, is, have you, oh brother, who's lost hope, have you gone out there? Have you gone to the field? Have you tried something? Have you, or are you complaining? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله. Do not lose hope. And لا ييأسوا من روح الله. Don't ever lose hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is an attribute of the disbelievers, or those who have gone astray. So are you losing hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Right? This is the real question here. And what are you doing? Are you being creative about it? Maybe you're not, mashallah, brother Mehdi or brother Craig, in terms of your height, but there's so much more about you as an individual.
And to add to that as well, Akhi Muhammad, because I already know what they're going to say. There's this one dude who I'm not going to say his name because I don't want him getting any more clout and the brother searching him up afterwards. But if you're in that space, you know who I'm talking about. He's a very big content creator in the black pill space. And his response to your comment will be, there's no point in going out there just to experience failure, because you will only, number one, you'll poison the well, is what he'll tell you, which is where women will start passing on information. Oh, no, I rejected him. Oh, I rejected him. And then, they all, like I say, social contagion. And then number two is that he said, you're already experiencing low self-esteem. You'll make your self-esteem worse. This same dude, because I watched a few of his videos, I wanted to understand him. This same dude, right?
Oh,
I
we
know,
lost
I know
connection.
the exact thing Mahdi was talking about. Inshallah, he comes back. But this idea of poisoning the well so it really goes to this individual Mahdi is talking about. I know him very well. This individual, I've seen his
Yeah, I know
videos
him.
today, and the
I know him.
individual
Yeah.
says that if you were to go, so it's you know straight away this person had a childhood devoid of social interaction. You know, this person is a certain,
Yeah.
very introverted individual that has a very analytical, scientific look on how life is, which will be debunked as soon as you go out there. That's the point. As soon as you go out there, as soon as you experience things, and Brother Abuamerican always reality checks people on this in the group. Stop going into hypotheticals. You can go down this rabbit hole, which will leave you in purely in that rabbit hole. You have to go out there and experience it, and you realize this idea of poisoning the well. Subhanallah. Okay, sorry, Akhi Mahdi. Tafaddal, inshallah.
My
You were mentioning.
browser closed off. I don't know why. So this same individual, he also says, I don't work out, I don't train, I haven't achieved anything at all because he's too young. Look, and this is why I have to give huge credit to my father, wallahi, and we have to give credit where it's due. And I like to praise my father whilst he's alive as well, because too many of us, we praise people once they die. That's too easy. I want them to know whilst they're alive. My father was very hard on me when I was young, very, very hard. And even though I think he was a bit too hard sometimes, I prefer that to not being hard at all. And that military regime he had me in, particularly when it came to sport, getting me up at 4:30 in the morning so that I can go and swim at 5 a.m. in a freezing cold pool until 7 o'clock. Then I go to college, then I go back again in the evening, and I'm swimming from 7 till 9, rinse and repeat over and over. It's grueling, as well as other sports that I was involved in. You develop a certain mindset, and that mindset is, whether I like it or not, I'm going to do it again and 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 again. You become numb to how you're feeling. That pool was freezing. I can't tell you. They can't heat pools for competitive swimmers, because if they heat it, once you start swimming, your body gets very hot. You produce your own body heat and you adjust. If they heat the pool as well, it will compromise your performance. So the pool has to be quite cold. So it's already freezing cold outside. It's the middle of winter. All right. And I'm a kid jumping into this free. It's horrible. And there's loads of kids doing this. But it teaches you this sort of ignoring how you're feeling. You give too much credit to your feelings. And I accept it is true. Looks helps. No doubt about it. Abuamerican has made this point many times. Sure, it helps. I'm with you. Okay, fine. So what? Just, you're too soft. There's no way for me to say this. Maybe you didn't have a father who was hard on you like with me. Okay, fine, no problem. You need to now maybe go to a fight club, or you need to find some other strong masculine figures that you can latch onto, because guess what? Iron sharpens iron. I had the advantage of, alhamdulillah, having a father who was like a general in the household, borderline dictator. But I see that as an advantage now on hindsight. I didn't like it in the moment. Believe me, I did not. I hated it. Wallahi, I hated it. But I really thank him, and I would kiss his forehead now. I appreciate it, because when I look around at the landscape and I see my peers, especially in the millennial generation, I'm like, you know what? Alhamdulillah. But this can be cultivated. Okay, you didn't have it in your childhood. No problem. You can cultivate it now. And if you don't have that, the ability to put it on yourself and stick it on yourself, then find other people who will stick it on you for you, such as, for example, a fight club and so on.
And just one point.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry if I got inshallah off to you.
I want to ask Coach Nazir something, and basically this is my mentality. Maybe I'm wrong, because you work in the therapy type of area. If correct me if I'm wrong. My mentality is this, and it's the same as what our brother Matthew was talking about. I am a man who believes in chasing the pain. You will not grow without discomfort as a man. I don't think women should be out chasing pain. And I made a video about this. I say men are muscle, women are skin. That it takes adversity for muscle to grow, and you want to protect your skin from harm because it leaves scars. And these are women who get emotional scarred, and it lasts forever. My son, does everybody know who David Goggins is? My son is a ranger. David Goggins failed. When my son was like 2.5 years old, I took him on like a death march. And it was really, I actually should have done it, but I took that boy on a death march. He like walked the whole way. I didn't even think that, like, maybe for a minute, this kid had just started walking, like not even a full year. And they are amazing. Both of my sons, Special Forces soldiers now, twins. Why? Because we chased the pain, and we did that the whole life. Just like Coach here. So I keep calling everybody Coach. Mahdi does. I see him, he's working out, whatever else. When you're working out, what do we do as workout people? We chase the pain, right? It's not hurting anymore. More weight. I don't feel the soreness anymore. More weight. Your life is not different, because we're not emotional creatures as women. Now, my question to you, Nazir, is would you actually recommend this, or are we out here traumatizing men? Because it worked for us. We come from, I don't know. I'm come from a generation, softness was not allowed. And all my guys are doing fine from my generation, so we're not out like self-deleting. What do you think?
So no, I think you're spot on, and so I'll answer that through what Muhammad said. Muhammad, when you mentioned about not losing hope, right? And so giving the brothers the benefit of the doubt that they're not losing the hope in Allah. I think what they are losing hope in is their rigidity, their lack of flexibility, i.e. their demand that they've placed on themselves, life, and in the situation. So what I mean, and this comes to Abuamerican, the point that you're making, look, any of us who have played in any type of sport, especially any combat sport, you have to be flexible. You're not going to make gains. You're not going to make any progress or attain any goal if you're not flexible. Look, you guys have all heard it. Mike Tyson says, everybody got a plan until you get punched in the face, right? And once you get punched in the face, your plan, you need to shift to whatever plan B, C, D, E, or F was. That's being flexible. So what I notice when I look at this from the lens of more of a counseling therapeutic lens is the problem here with them is demands, a demand that they're placing on the situation that what they want to happen must happen in their time frame, in the way that they want it to happen, right? And how they want it to happen, right? So I must find her and it must happen right now. And my self-development must show results in this time frame with these results, i.e. this particular sister with this particular frame or this particular whatever it is. And it must happen under these means. It must be online, or it must be organic. It must be organic through the university or through work. It can't be through the auntie or my mother or my auntie from back home. These are all demands. And what RABT or CBT would say is demands are the core things that upset us in life. The rigid demands that we place on ourselves, others, and life conditions. And in the context, I think, of Muslims, the demands we place on our Lord, on Allah, right? That she must appear right now, right? I must have the jawline. I must have the look. And if I don't, I can't stand it. It's unbearable. And I must be unworthy, unlovable, right? And I'm not going to ever obtain what I want. And so just to be very quick, like if you're in the gym and you're working out, look, there's evidence to disprove that you can't gain muscle. No matter how fast your metabolism is, there's evidence that even if you have a fast metabolism, you can get gains. So same way as if you're 5'3", hold on, I must pause. And I'll come back to that. And Muhammad, you're the youngest here, so you have to remember where I'm at to remind me. Because I must give deference to the late Christopher Wallace, who said, I'm black and ugly as ever. However, you'll get that later on. But what the point is, he acknowledged and he accepted that he didn't match what a quote unquote, the black pill would say that you need to get women. But he had the however. He wasn't rigid. So he acknowledged that he was black and ugly, but he also had that however. I do this, I stay down this. Meaning, what is the however for you? What is the rigidity that you're going to let go of and shift to something that's flexible and acknowledging, yes, that you were born with the genetic pool that you were born with may not be ideal for this particular thing that you want, right? But it may be ideal for something else in another sphere of life. But if you just accept that, yeah, you don't have the genetic pool that you think is best, but however, I can do A, B, and C, and A, B, and C does not have to show the results. My self-improvement, my reading, my diet, it does not have to show the results on the time frame that I'm demanding on other people on life, my Lord. It must show the results in. That to me is the issue. The demands. If they let go of the demands, they'll thinking, feeling, connection. Let go of the demands, you'll decrease that hopelessness, right? That anxiety about I'll never get her.
To touch on something that you just said there, Akhi Nasir, women obviously they communicate more covertly and men communicate more overtly. This, as a result, makes women better at picking up on social cues, the non-verbal, the intangibles, right? They tend to be better than men at picking up on these intangibles. And one of these intangibles that a woman can pick up on, the best way for me to explain it is when Andrew Tate was on the Fresh and Fit podcast a couple of years ago. One of the super chat questions was, hey, Andrew, to the effect of, you have this look in your eye. There's a look in your eye. Okay. I can't describe it, but there's a look in your eye. How do I get that look in my eye? And his response was, yeah, and he's straight. And he said to him, you can't fake this. You have to go through what I've been through. You have to go through that muck and mess and dirt and pain. As Abuamerican was saying, chasing the pain. And then that steely look in your eye will develop as a side effect, a natural side effect of what you have been through as a man. But you can't gloss your eyes up or, I don't know, put some contact lenses on. It's an intangible. It's something that you can't fake. You have to go through stuff. And when you go through that stuff, wallahi, yani, you can infect a woman with that emotion. She can just sense it. It's something that is difficult to explain with words. It's an intangible, but she can sense this man's about that life. I don't know what it is, but the vibe is right. What do you think she's referring to? The intangibles that we can't necessarily measure, but come about as a result of what you have been through as a man.
And Akhi Mahdi, this is exactly the point which I would like to tell these brothers who are being influenced by this black pill ideology, that you can't measure this stuff, what we're talking about. When you talk about this raw, Akhi, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect our brothers and, you know, those who've experienced, you know, things before. Akhi, there's certain moments, it's unexplainable. A woman looks at you, you look at her straight away. You can't explain what's going on here, as in she knows you're about it and she knows she wants you. These type of things, I doubt highly that brothers who are influenced by this ideology have even felt in their life. And one point that I would like to say as well, to counter what that particular black pillar you mentioned, Mahdi, has put out there, which is that there's no point if you're a sub 5. My counter to that is a lot of these sub 5 brothers are trying to go for +5 women, right? And an interesting thing that I was stumbling upon in a hadith, Rasulullah, when he mentioned that if you were to see a woman, the woman comes and goes in the shape of a shaitan, of a devil, and you should, what's the cure to that? That shahwa that comes to go to your wife, because what's with that woman is with what your woman. Essentially, what we're talking about over here. And wallahi, man, this is, you know, alhamdulillah, we've all experienced halal intimacy, is you would find that, and brothers, feel free to, you know, either push back on this, but you will find the same comfort in a woman that is, you know, a 5 that you would maybe that is more beautiful, and to the extent, and a lot of the theory is that a woman who is less attractive will have developed skills and, you know, wouldn't have had that prissy privilege that so many doors are open to her, and you'd find it in a 9 or a 10. So brothers, another thing that I find with people who have lost hope is that they're shooting well above, you know, punching well above their weight as well. So that's another one of the other points I wanted to mention as well.
I have a comment here, and it's kind of like fits into what Nazir was talking about and what you were just talking about. I made a video talking about brothers checking out, and I do understand. I tried to, stretch the olive branch out to guys after a video saying like, hey, you got to harden up. But anyway, one of the responses was this right here, and this is exactly what I'm talking about, and this is what I have a problem with brothers when we teach them this stuff. And I was talking about we're giving brothers the cheat codes, on how to like shortcut a lot of stuff. But really, the cheat codes don't take away the work. But let's get into it. So the brother says, the reason guys check out is because they don't know how to use those tools. I was saying that we're giving you the tools. And I was mentioning you brothers, that we are actually out here giving you guys the tools. It says, what's the point of having a sword, yet you can't use it? Those cheat codes mean nothing, bro. Guys need to be taught, trained, and given the opportunity to utilize those cheat codes. No one fails on purpose. We need to be conditioned and trained to be winners. Most of us are swimming against the tide. Gentlemen, I want you to really think about what was written in this comment. It's every excuse not to try. What's the point in having a sword if you don't know how to use it? Well, you're making an excuse not to pick it up. You're not going to learn how to use this if you don't pick it up. His whole thing is, I'm not going to learn how to use a sword, so I'm not going to pick it up. Do you see what I'm saying? Everything in all of this mentality is I don't want to try. And this is what I am seeing personally. Now, I understand everything's against you, but hey, check this out, guys. And I'm going to drag one thing into another. I am obviously an African American. I am in Germany. This is a very, very white country. I am in senior management in a very big company. Where German is not my native language. I self-taught myself German. I'm working at a company where if you use German, it has to be at a very high level. Guess what? I don't speak German at a very, very high level. I speak it well, fluently, whatever else. Why did I make it? Why? Because I didn't give up. And when I came onto the job, guess what? I had what do you call it? I can't remember what it's called. There's a specific term for it. I had the feeling I was going to fail. And I got into the job, and my boss for the first month was talking to me like, he wasn't rude, but he was like, okay, did we make a mistake here? So within my 6-month period, though, I managed to get promoted to an even higher position. You know why? Because I didn't quit. Because I was like, okay, wow, I really need to up my game. When are you going to actually pick up the tools yourself? There's guys, they're self-made carpenters. There's guys, they're self-made. You go to the gym, they're self-made gym bros that are like just massive, huge dudes, and they can break down carbs, diets, workouts, whatever else. Nobody taught them. There has to be a point when thank you, imposter syndrome. There's a point when you have to actually just cowboy up and grab your hat and then you just actually go out and do the work yourself. Nobody can hold your hand through this. This is life.
It's it's what you mentioned earlier, Abuamerican, the avoidance of pain. Not even just chasing the pain, like not wanting to embrace it at all. And maybe that has something to do with schooling. And obviously I'm a millennial, right? So I went through the same schools. And my school life was very different from my home life. I'm glad I had my home life now, but the contrast was so extreme. And if I only had school, I'd be very, very soft. Everyone got a medal. Everyone was a winner. I competed at London Strongest Man in 2019. I came 8th, 7th or 8th. Everyone got a runners-up medal. There's a picture on my old Instagram account, Mahdi Tijani 1989. We're all lined up. Everyone's wearing their runners-up medal, all the runners-up. I've got the runners-up medal in my hand because I was getting ready to throw it in the bin. And I said, don't put that thing on my neck. I didn't win, okay? So don't put that crap on my neck. I held it in my hand. There's the everyone's a winner mentality. I'm sorry, guys. There's winners and losers. Now, you must decide which one you want to become. And yes, it's extremely painful losing. I came 8th. That's rubbish. It's not even top 3. All right, but it is what it is. You're going to have to go through this crap if you want to make those incremental improvements. I don't know what else to tell you.
If I can, I think one of the things that contributes to this is the thinking beforehand. And I think the thinking is what gets people stuck and inactive, right? And so one of the things that I would suggest is like, remember, you put like 10 dots in front of you. The reality is we're talking about one dot, which is finding a spouse, right? In reality, there's thousands of dots. There's thousands of things that you do, a number of hats that you wear. We're really just talking about one dot, one aspect of your life. But the problem in the faulty thinking is this one dot becomes the generalization to all of the dots. And then when that generalization is made to all of the dots, one then becomes depressed, hopeless, and then cascade effects, it affects all of the other dots. The reality is this is just one aspect. And this, you can think of it in terms of parenting, right? All of the other roles that you do well, but your communication may be an issue with your child, right? The issue is not that you're a bad parent, you just got poor communication skills, right? And that's a skill set. So same thing with this particular thing with this black pill mentality. It's really getting in control of the thinking. It's not everything. It's not all the hats that you wear. It's just that one thing. And I think it's important to get in control of that thinking. And one of the ways I suggest you do that is really just look for the evidence. And this is purely from the model. This isn't nothing, I'm creative thinking. No, this is just what the model says. When you have a thought that may not be helpful, or what, if you Google it, it'll say irrational thinking. If you have irrational thinking, just challenge it with evidence. So my question to you would be, is there anyone who's 5'4" with a terrible jawline that was able to get the woman that he wanted? And if the evidence is there, then that means you now have an evidence that you can actually do this. Now you have to do what is the elegant solution, is to figure out, how do I go about it?
Well, I'm going to play devil's advocate with you now, because I already know what I already know what the pushback will be. The pushback will be, well, that's an apex fallacy. That's an anomaly. That's an exception to the rule. Look, want what you want, but buy what you can afford, as Kevin Samuels used to say, right? And Muhammad made a very good point just now, Muhammad Malik. There is a correlation between extremely beautiful women and extremely crap behavior, poor behavior. Does that mean all beautiful women are poorly behaved? No, not at all. I'm just saying that there is something to be said about a girl who's an adjustable 6, for example, and she knows it. She knows she's not as beautiful as the 8, 9s, and 10s, but she compensates in her attitude and behavior towards you in other areas, you see. And that is the sukuna that Allah speaks of in the Quran. لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. That sukuna, that
Sakina.
sakina.
Yeah.
The sakina. That's that sakina when a woman is like, she's peaceful. Now, again, the pushback will be, oh, Mahdi, that's a cope. You see, you're just coping. No, I'm just saying, I'm stating a fact. You want a dime piece? No problem. You know, if she's a dime piece and she's got beautiful, she's peaceful, great, fantastic, so much.
But I think, but Mahdi, I don't know if that's really a pushback, though.
Again, Nasser, one more time.
I don't know if that's really a pushback, because the question would become, what is the demand here? What type? See, there's a demand that I must get a dime. So what comes with getting the dime is there might be an extended waiting period, and you may not get the dime that you want. So then the trained ear would say, okay, well, really, what are the qualities that you're looking for? And then as we work through that more, it would really, the dime isn't what you're looking for, it's the qualities. And can you find those qualities with something who's an adjustable 6 and up?
Interesting. Very good.
Right? So I think this, and I'll stop here. That's the importance of what we call private logic. When you have a thought in your mind that stays in your mind, that it becomes logical because it's all in your mind. But once you get it out to others, it tested exactly. Then, and this is why the brothers that are listening, please, this is why a close circle of brothers are important, because brothers do what women don't do. And sisters, that's why I encourage you and your support system, have a brother who's a trained professional in this. And that's just not a shame and plug for me. I'm saying that because men will tell you the uncomfortable truths, whether you want to hear it or not. We don't lie to each other. We tell each other straight how it is. Raw, no chaser, straight up. Sisters will lie to each other. Like, so why did I say that? And how does it all connect? And I'll stop. Because the private logic, when it comes out amongst your brothers, you're going to have a brother that's going to push back and say, man, that's absurd. Well, how you think you're going to get a dime? and you ain't got a dime in your pocket.
Yeah,
I got an uncomfortable.
let me add to that, if you allow me, Abu-American, because I'm losing the points here. I'm writing down. So regarding your point, Nasser, which is never ever consult a female coach. Like, they're full of shit. They will never tell you the truth. Like, um, the way that I speak reflect that all of my clients, they know that. Everybody that book me for a counseling session, he know that, and I remind every single one of them that I'm a harsh coach. Like, if you're easily offended, you book the wrong one. And all of them, they told me, including the females, I know that you're harsh. That's why I booked you, to tell me the truth. You do not care about people feeling. Like, I believe, Nasser, you will get that, you will get that on the Big Five model. My neuroticism, my personal trait as neuroticism is 2%, and my agreeableness is 0. The sub trait of it, which is the politeness, is 0%. So I do not really give a slightly fuck about what people think. I will tell you what I believe is the truth. So, and I'm not polite about it. So women cannot afford to do that. Women is social creature. Like, their politeness on average among the whole women in the world is around 65%. And that, like, they're designed for that, to be a good moms, because, like, less agreeable people, less polite people, and low neuroticism people is not designed to take care of children. That's why they are better natural caregiver. So if you want the truth, if you want someone to rub your nose in the truth, you do not go to female. She will tell you, like, the politically correct things. She will care about your feeling more than your future. So do not. Getting back to Muhammad point, which is the intimacy. If you got it with your wife and she's 5, is better than, like, other woman when she's 10. Like, there is a psychological point of view here, and I will give a very amazing example, which is, everybody know Amber Heard. From scientific metric point of view, she got a perfect face. And I know that before most of the black pillars now exist. I know that since 15-20 years. I know that the metrics and the golden ratio, the Fibonacci sequence, and the dimensions between the nose and the mouth, everything, the eyes, the eyebrows. Like, from scientific point of view, Amber Heard is 10. She's a perfect 10. But nowadays, almost every, because there's some sims, almost
Craig's like, no, that's not my type.
almost every single man on earth hate her. They do not have respect. They do not have they do not feel attracted to her. They hate her. She was saying, I was crossing 6 blocks in going to the trial, people saying, burn the witch, burn the witch. Everybody is hating her. Why? She's attractive. Like, from a visual point of view, she's very attractive. Everybody hates her. Why? Because even men, while they are like a visual creature, like, they appreciate the visual attractiveness more than double to triple than female. Like, and they measure that by the brain activity when they show both of them, like, in one study. Like, double the space of this specific let's say center in the brain. It's have the double space activated when they saw some visual sexual attractive photos. So men is like more than double than women on a visual stimulation, and Amber Heard is a 10. Why men do not like her, and they are not attracted to her? Because of her behavior. So look is not 100% of things, even in men's eyes. even in men's eyes. Like I'm good with 6 or 7 who's feminine and submissive, and she have high moral standard. But I'm not good with a 9 like Beyonce. No, like from to wife her up. I'm not.
And this is the
Yeah, go
uncomfortable
ahead, bro.
truth that I want to drop. A lot of these brothers are upset because they can't get the woman of their dreams, the woman that they want. This is real. Everybody wants, like you said, they want that dime piece, they want that 9, they want that 10. And here's the thing. As a man who's been married more times than he ever thought he would be or ever wanted to be, I've been married from dimes to just absolute butterfaces. And let me tell you something, dimes are overrated. I have not met a single one that is not a hot mess. Not a single one. I've helped brothers. I helped a brother twice to get married in London to absolute dimes. And the brother had to leave the UK. This is the nicest guy you could ever come across. He's a wonderful brother, but he's not a bad boy. He got the dime twice. The second one made him absolutely have to leave the country because of legal issues. Guys, these women are overrated. And I know that's an easy thing to say. Everybody, but Abuamerican, you had the dime. Okay, go ruin your life, bro. I'm telling you, pretty women are good at teaching you ugly lessons.
Oof.
They will teach you the ugliest lessons. Alhamdulillah, I got the game down. I got the muscle down. My money's okay. You can't, bro. How hard do you want to work in your life? I'm not afraid of the battle. Let me tell you something. You want to spend your life busting yourself and just working yourself into a corner? That's it right there. You want to be a broken man? You think you're broken now? You want to give up now? Go ahead, marry that dime. You don't want a day off? You don't want a day where you can relax? You're not Andrew Tate. Take it easy, bro.
Just a very quick point. I think the problem with that is a side note. This is a total side note.
Okay.
Is that the dimes got pretty privilege, right? And they go through life and not having to have to go through oftentimes those hard adversities. They don't get their hand slapped. And again, for the feminists lurking and watching, I don't mean literally, but I mean through life. The adversity doesn't have to affect them. Oftentimes, those that are pretty, so they have that pretty privilege. And thus, they never have the humility to do the work.
Sahih.
That's the key. So any dime that is lurking on this page, because I know that you are and you're watching right now, my suggestion to you as your brother would be, have the humility to say that there are things I need to adjust. Adjustments need to be made. And then you can be a dime piece in more ways than just attraction.
Can I just mention one thing that I've observed?
Ikhwan, forgive me. Sorry, Muhammad, but forgive me. I have to make a move. I didn't want to interrupt. But Jazakallah khair, and thank you for having me on, Coach Karim. It's been a pleasure, gentlemen. Jazakallah khair.
You're most welcome, bro. You're most
Assalamu
welcome.
alaikum.
Take care.
But Ikhwani, one thing, as As-Sadiq al-Masduqin, the most truthful person, said, what is with her is with her as well. But there's one thing I've noted. The woman, despite her being a dime or whatnot, if she has that relationship with her father, to the extent that she's given almost, autonomy to the father to say, Dad, you bring to me a husband. This is a way, this is a way in for the brothers who may not be up to par in terms of looks, maybe not be up to par in a few things, to shoot your shot via a wali, and see the and ascertain if this sister is really, has given the rights to the wali. And I think this is a hack a lot of people are not talking about. If you really want that want that dime piece and you're dying for it, you're asking for it, you're begging for it, then inshallah this is a way to go through the wali. And these sisters tend to be easier on that front. But that's one observation.
And I'm living proof of that. I'm living proof. Like that's what I did. I saw my wife. I got her number. I went to the directory, got her extension, called her up, and the first thing I said is, "I want to speak to your father." I ain't no time for chit chat. All I said is, "I want to speak to your father." And she's like, okay, I'll get back to you. And every meeting I had with her was with her father and family at their place.
Mm.
And so this is the thing. People may, now I'm going to say this. We had our nikah after 2 months, and people would say that is too soon. And then so we had the nikah after 2 months, and then had the walima after another 2 months. So in total, 4 months. All of the meetings were with her parents at her house. And Habib, I can honestly say, man, 7 months, and it has been, mashallah, from the will of Allah, a beautiful thing. And so that the point is, I wasn't stuck on what if she says no. I just called up the phone. I want to speak to your father. Hello.
That's the way it's got to be. And can I just go back on my previous point, guys? This is not to say that don't try. I'm not saying that you can't get a 10, you can't get a dime. I'm not saying you can't get it. I'm not saying there aren't good women out there that are dimes, but I'm just saying those women, they have a level of like they've had so much given to them in terms of attention and deference from men for so long that it's kind of hard for them not to be normal, or it's kind of hard for them to be normal. I'll give an example. I lived in Qatar for 7 years. At the time when I lived there, the average monthly income of a Qatari family was 72,000 US dollars a month. That was the average income. Let me ask you, if you had an average income of 72,000 US dollars a month, how normal do you think you would be? If you were to walk amongst normal people, do you think you probably wouldn't? I'm pretty sure you wouldn't. Their kids, they were monsters. But they didn't realize that, because you're walking around in a whole different class of lifestyle that the average person can't relate to. These are pretty women in terms of attention that they get. They are the $72,000 a month people. It's hard to be normal when you have a life like that. And that's not bad in that sense. But again, we come back to about shooting in your pay grade. So a woman who has that mentality, well, when she comes across a guy who's actually making a couple of $1 million a month, do you really think that, like, you know, that they don't fit together? Obviously they do. They're in the same social / pay grade, because this guy is used to women throwing themselves at him to the same rate that this woman is used to men throwing themselves at her. You see, so they fit together. This isn't only about economics. This is about mentality. They have a unified mentality. He is in an extreme non-scarcity position as a man when it comes to women. She's in an extreme non-scarcity position when it comes to men. They fit together perfectly because they have that mentality that matches. You don't have this, and now you're mad. You're in different categories, and it's not just financial. Yes, the financials can affect it. It can come from that, but unless you're like a hyper attractive guy that's like dealing with that as daily attention from women, come on, guys. And that's not life. That's just facts of life.
I believe Abuamerican, like as Brother Nasser said, which is they refuse to accept what we say because it makes them understand that the game is hard and you have to put the time and effort to improve yourself. Like getting back to what you said about the German language. Like most of people who know me, like they'll ask me that, like, have you how you speak a good English? Like, have you been to United States? I say no, never. United Kingdom? No, never. English speaking country? No, never. Oh, so you studied in English language? I say no, never. I studied in Arabic. Like, how do you speak Russian? I speak Russian too. You never been to Russia? Say, yeah, I learned it. So, but these things are not easy. It is not easy. And I understood it is not easy. But I put the effort and the time to improve myself to be able to speak 3 to 4 languages, like in non-speaking of these languages countries. So you have to work on yourself. What we say is like it give you like the rules at Abuamerican says. It give you the codes, like the cheating codes. But cheating codes does not work like without effort. even if you insert the cheat codes in a game, you still have to play the game. Like it's not you're not gonna win like standing like and watching what will happen. Like you have to play the actual game. If I explain the chess rules for you as a new player, and you totally understand the chess rules, you understand where like how like how king move, like how everything move, like how the queen move, and you understand everything, you still have to play the game and to train to get better and better to master this game. So, but the easiest way is no, that's too hard. No, that's bullshit. No, I'm not playing.
Can I add one point, on to what my brother Abuamerican was making, is coming back to the thinking. There's that demand that although I'm in this category, I should be able to get what I want from another category, regardless of the fact that I'm in this particular lower category. Again, we always coming back to these demands, a rigid belief that I must have what I want, when I want it, and how I want it. Right. And I think that's what underpins it. And one other point I want to make is just a side note.
Is that sense of entitlement, Akhi Nasser?
It very much, well, it could be that for sure, but it also may be someone that's just not informed about regulating their emotions. And see, that's another thing that I think I encourage men, we have to learn how to do, because it's, as we all know, it's about maintaining frame. And a lot of frame is about emotion and being able to control and regulate your emotions. Now, that doesn't mean be meek, but you understand when you need to be irritated with someone and you understand when you need to be angry at someone, right? And those are going to have two different thoughts that produce each other, right? There's a certain set of thoughts that's going to produce irritation, a certain set of thoughts that are going to produce anger. Now, you need to, as a man, know which one to channel, which one to fuel, right? Because your thinking fuels your actions. But the other point I wanted to make, because you're right, Coach, it could be that. But another part of it is they just may not be informed about their thinking. Because unfortunately, I don't apologies, Coach, I'm not sure what country you're in, but I can tell you for the States, we don't teach emotional regulation in school. People learn about psychology and emotional regulation once they get in college, and or when they go through a tragedy or adversity in life, and then they have to seek external help. So we're not raising young men or young women to understand how to regulate their emotions or to think about their thinking. And that's a critical part. And so one last point that I just wanted to make is again, as a side note, brothers, make sure that a no or a rejection from a woman is not a reflection of your worth. It's just a reflection of your value in the market. That's it. Don't generalize this to be something that it's not. Your worth comes from your Lord. It doesn't come from, a sister or her father, right? Or the market. That's just value. That's skill sets. How much value is assigned to the skill sets that you have? And that's what I think everybody is saying is those skill sets you can increase. The things that you can increase, you just have to accept.
Yeah, we got by the way. Sorry, Abuamerican. We got by the way two murder cases in the last few days. One in Egypt and one in Jordan, like for two young men, college student, who killed their colleagues, female colleagues, because they rejected them. They refused to get married to them. So they killed them. Like they're both guys. They killed the both girls. One in Jamiat Al Mansour University in Egypt, and one in Ulum Tatbiqiyya, the Applied Science University in Amman, in Jordan, my country. So, and I'm doing a behavioral breakdown on these cases as like the mass shooter of Texas. Like a lot of them have and you know that very well, Abuamerican, the one-itis mindset. Like
Yeah.
there is the soulmate, the one and only woman that I
That's a
will find.
demand.
Yeah, I will
Itis
love
is a demand.
and I will spend my life with. And when he get attracted to this soulmate myth, and he approached her, 20 years old, like 19. You still get your allowance from your daddy? No, I'm good. He, like, everything in his world is crumbling, like everything is shattered in his world, so he can't afford it. He can't afford the PTSD, the trauma that he got. Why? Because he's thinking in the one-itis myth mentality, which is there is one perfect woman among these 7 billion on the planet. No, there is always someone better around the corner. And as Brother Nasser was saying, your worth come from your God. And even on your sexual market value level, if you are still young, your market value is zero. Like, you got out of the high school, out of the college, congratulations, your sexual market value is zero. Now you have to achieve something to level it up. So that's the reality. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not your mom. But I can, like, we say in Arabic, ألف بنت بتتمنى. There's 1,000 girl wish to be with my son. No, there is not. He is still 19 years old, idiot. No, there is not. There's no 1,000 girl. He have to work his ass off, like, among the next 5 to 10 years, to be something in the society. Then there is a 1,000 girl will wish to be with him. Go ahead, Abuamerican. Sorry.
Yeah. Can you put up Ahmed Al Mahdi's comment, please? Because this is a very good example of, like, what I consider to be black pill thinking. Surprisingly or not, I think this is black people thing. Are men really looking for dimes, though? I feel like most want a loyal, religious, kind, and feminine woman. Understand this. You're viewing women from the male perspective. You're doing exactly what women do. You are externally projecting the male worldview onto women. What is the male worldview? Men are made, women are born. So men are made, you're externally projecting this on women. That woman right here, she doesn't exist. You have to inspire that in the woman that you meet. You absolutely have to make this woman. Now, nobody wants to hear this. You get the woman you want, now you gotta do more work. Yes. Let me tell you something. When my wife, she showed up here, I taught her how to cook what I wanted to eat. I knew how to cook, though. She now cooks the food I like the way I like it. She actually even finds recipes and, like, tries them because she has an understanding of what I like. But that woman didn't come ready-made. And she came from a culture of submissiveness. She comes from Far East Asia.
Yeah.
I have a wife. They don't like each other. When things were going bad, I said she needs time to adjust into being the woman that I need her to be. She's my oldest wife. I said she spent 37 years being this woman. She's not going to change into the woman I want her to be, or the co-wife that you would like her to be, in 1 month. She's used to just being her and running around doing what she wants, how she wants. Now, the behaviors that are in question stopped. It took longer than I thought it would. It took over a year, but they stopped. But she had 37 years of those behaviors. This woman that you want, you know what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to inspire her to be the woman that you want. Because when you are that guy, she's going to do anything it takes to stay with you. She's going to do what it takes. This is the nature that Allah has put in women. He has put that compliance into them. This is probably, Allahu Alam, this is probably part of the reason why Muslim women are not allowed to marry non-Muslim men.
Exactly.
You know, our brother Abu Khadija, some of y'all don't like him, I don't care, but he said, he made a talk to the sisters, you're Salafi by association. And if you married the right guy, you'd be Sufi. And if you married the right guy, you'd be Shia. But you happen to marry a Salafi that you like, so now you're a Salafi. Women will follow.
Yeah,
you can't
be more agreeable.
You can't be black pill. You got to go in there and you got to take charge. And this is what a lot of guys don't want to do, or they're afraid to do. Take charge.
So I'm going to do Mehdi's role here and a little bit of a devil's advocate. Okay. And Hafidahullah, Abu Khadija has got some incredible talks, Hafidahullah, on this topic of family and women and how to be a qawwam, really. So if I were to say, mashallah, Abuamerican, you mentioned that didn't you mention that we want a ready-made wife, or somebody who's ready-made? And so you're saying that even if I find a woman that ticks a lot of boxes, I'm going to have to build her up. So what is the key thing that I should be looking for as somebody now who's taken in your content? I've taken in Coach Kareem's content, I've taken in Mehdi's content and Nasir's content, and I've got so much, maybe some of my content, and I'm thinking, I've got so many more red flags now. I'm realizing this is a flag. This is a flag. On top of that, the mahar issue, which, by the way, when I did my research a little bit into my followers, into what are they looking at, why do they feel doomed, mahar is a big thing, as in, feeling financially, feeling financially secure enough to ask for a woman's hand. What is the bare minimum then, Abuamerican, that I should look for in a woman to consider her ready-made, as you'd say, or oven ready for me to then mold?
Well, if you're looking in the West, first off, you got to understand that you're probably not going to find a ready-made woman in the sense of a housewife. There was a time when there was generational women training other women how to be women. Men had to do their rites of passage. Women had training in how to actually be housewives. This no longer exists. But we as men, we still have, in a sense, our rites of passage where we understand like, oh, that guy's made it. He's done it. There's just no marker, no benchmark where you got to go into the woods and bring back a wolf's head or something. That just doesn't exist. It's kind of financial, to a degree. So what I look for in a woman, you're not going to find a woman without red flags in the 21st century. I don't care if you go to the deepest bush of Africa or Asia or whatever else. You're not going to find a woman that doesn't have red flags. It's impossible. We have our own red flags as men also. So now you have to find like the best compromises. The first thing I look for in a woman personally is pro-cooperative attributes. Pro-cooperative attributes, there is a lot to it, but basically she has compliance. She already has that kind of that submissiveness in it. That is a type of choosing signal where she's like, I don't know this guy. Well, what do when she's looking for what you like so she can try and be it. This is a pro-cooperative attribute. It's like, okay, well, what's your personality, woman? Because everything she's asking you is information on what you like, what do you want to do, or what do you like the most? What's your favorite food? What's this? What's that? What's that? She's so interested in what you are or what you like so that she can try and be it. This is a pro-cooperative attribute, that when you give like basic commands that don't cost her any money or embarrass her, she's more than willing to comply. So, because you have to test also. Yeah. And then, that's the first thing I really look for, because you can work with that. You can have a woman with like what you might consider to be heavy red flags, but when she displays that and it's consistent, especially when you put her under emotional pressure, and I think, and I don't want to talk about it, but I recently married and I put that woman under some emotional pressure. And what did she do? She complied, Sometimes you have to push because you're like, okay, I see some red flags here. What's going on here? What kind of response and resistance am I going to get? What is that response going to be? Does she have self-care? And this is another one. This is probably the second most important one. And I don't know if Coach Nadir would agree with me, but she has to have the ability to self-care. So when you put her under emotional pressure, she doesn't flip out. She doesn't blow up on you. She doesn't look to divert accountability or responsibility to someone else. She has self-care ability to regulate and control her emotions. Because we as men have to regulate and control our sexuality, because we know men will basically smash anything that moves if we're given the opportunity. Women, they have the same thing with their emotions. They have the ability to control it, but it's become acceptable and easy for them not to. It's societally acceptable for them not to control their emotions. But we as men are expected to control our sexuality, and we obviously should, from a religious standpoint. So what exists in men, there is also the opposite in women, So she has to have that ability to self-care and self-regulate her emotions and her situation. Yeah, because this is what daily life is going to look like. When she's upset, when she's angry, when she's going through, the woman thing, and I say it all the time, your woman is always going to be like an epileptic terrorist. She's going to run off the reservation and she's going to have a fit one time. It's normal. You're not going to have a perfect life. She's a human being. So these are the things I look for. You artificially insert these into those interactions with her to see how she responds. because
Yeah.
there's a lot of mistakes I didn't make. These are mistakes I made before where I didn't get the opportunity to do these things. Now, Coach Nadir, alhamdulillah, he did it with the Wali and everything, and this is superior. And I always tell brothers, go to social networks, don't go to social media, don't go to the apps. I say that all the time. Allah is my witness. Brothers who watch my channel is my witness. If you can do that, do that. But if you're on your own, then you really got to run these sisters through the ringer to see how they respond. Because your daily life is going to be like that. You're going to do stuff that upsets her, and women, they are not the clear communicators like they like to say they are. And she's going to expect you to understand why she's upset, and you're going to be like, what's wrong with her today? And that's going to be
Yeah.
your life.
So a quick point is I would absolutely agree with that, and I'll make this very quick, Coach Kareem. Like, it's important, and guys, if you've seen any of my content, most of it is towards sisters. I work with mainly sisters. I say the same thing. You have to have the humility, and then once you have the humility, you have to learn a modality, because the humility will teach you that you have baggage. And as you guys know, I always talk about the check-in baggage, carry-on baggage. And when you go into a relationship, into a marriage, you want to go into the marriage with the carry-on baggage, not the check-in baggage that weighs down the plane. The only way that you know the difference is by learning the modality so that you can unpack and not unpack at the counter when your husband is trying to pay for the tickets or get the tickets and they trying to weigh the luggage. The unpacking needs to happen at home before you get married. So that's why I always say you have the humility to then understand that you got baggage, which we all have. We all are fallible human beings. So you understand that you have baggage. You learn a modality so that you can regulate your emotions and your thinking to unpack the baggage, so that then when you do find the right person, a brother or a sister, your baggage is carryable. It's carry-on luggage. It's not that check-in stuff. Because for brothers, the biggest turnoff is when a sister feel like she got to carry your luggage for you. Right? When she got to carry your baggage for you, that's check-in baggage. You should have dealt with all of that before you got the sister. But again, we come back to demand that I have to have the person who I want, when I want it, and how I want it. And that how and when has to be right now. It's a demand.
Yeah.
You got to go to demands, brothers.
Yeah, yeah. Adding to Abuamerican, what he was saying, I don't know why everybody, like especially the woke liberals, idiots, like they lose their mind when we say in the manosphere, like get yourself a coachable woman. What? Women are not dogs. Blah 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 bullshit blah. We are not saying she's. Look, CEOs get coaching, presidents get coaching. Prime ministers get coaching. You don't have to be a dog to get coaching. So,
Wife training
so
and femininity training was a thing back in the past, like the 50s and the 60s and all that stuff. That was a
it
thing.
used to be with the etiquette courses, with the like how to walk, how to do everything, even the survey to how to serve the food and the other stuff.
Today I
So,
learned home economics was a subject here in the UK, maybe about
oh,
a few
that's
decades ago.
interesting.
Home economics.
States
That's
as well.
interesting.
We had it when I was in middle school.
Yeah, yeah, great. So get yourself a coachable woman. Like that's a great. And from a personal trait point of view, like high agreeableness is a feminine trait. Low agreeableness is masculine. Like if you're talking with a woman and she's replying each one word with 10, we want to do that. Why don't you do it yourself? I need you to do that. You can do it. You can't live with this type of woman. Like marry your cousin, like it's better. Marry your male cousin, you will get along better with him. Like I'm joking. We do not support the rainbow bullshit, but like it's metaphor. Like to marry a man, a masculine man, better to better than to get a masculine female. Like you can't live with it. One of the guys once asked me, like he wanted to embarrass me. He told me like, can you marry a feminist woman? Uh, the context is, can you deal with her? And I said, yes, of course. Like I reprogram people for a living. I can deal with her. But is is the juice worth the squeeze? Like she will take a lot of my time, energy, and effort to let's say to take out the bad behavior of her mindset. Like, is it worth it? If you want to buy a car, for example, like I find a car, like I'm looking for a V8. Here's a V8. I'm looking for a high performance car. It is a high performance car, but I need the windshield to be shaded. It does not have shade. That's okay. I can do that. But I have the minimum requirement that I can work on. But like if there is a major red flag, no, thank you. I will get myself a better option. So there is some let's say bad traits or like red flag, some red flags that every man can deal with, or like an experienced man can deal with. Like he can deal with, as Abuamerican says, like she need time to adjust to the new situation. Perfect woman does not exist. You manufacture her. Because even as an objective perfect woman, she's not perfect for you personally, because you have a lifestyle, you have things that in your personal life she have to adjust to. But she have the good basis. As matter of fact, I would add to that, a coachable woman, and from a two-parent household with a good masculine figure. That's a great indicator of a long-term marriage and stability. Because if she does not respect the masculine authority in her house, or she does not have masculine authority in her house, it will be very hard for her to adjust for your authority as a husband. So that's a great indicator too. Go ahead, bro.
Can I just make a quick point? Mohammed, were you about to go? Okay, a quick point that I think touches on to what both Coach Kareem and Abuamerican was saying is about this agreeableness. And Abuamerican, I think the point you were making about being socialized, Muhammad and I did a live, and there was a lot of pushback that I received when we talked about being coachable. And I would suggest that in the West, sisters are socialized to be agreeable at work, but to not be agreeable with their husbands.
Yes, sir.
So, as I've said before in other talks, it's not that I'm rigid when it comes to how dialogue happens in my house or how I encourage brothers that look, there's no arguments in the home. There's disagreements, but there's none of this disrespectful talk. That's just not accepted because you won't do that at work. So afford me that same agreeableness or that temperament that you hold for yourself when you're at work. I need you to do that at home, right? But this is the point I wanted to get to, is speaking to what Coach Cream mentioned earlier. I think you said it jokingly about marrying the cousin, but if you know back, traditionally that happened. And this points to the point that I'm making.
No, I meant your male cousin.
No. Okay, no. Okay, just clarify. No. So I thought you meant your cousin, like a girl cousin. So this is the point. When you're a brother and you're talking about marrying your cousin, that cousin, one of the things that would stop her from being aggressive towards her husband in word, in diction, in tone, would be the thought that this is my cousin. What's going to be said about my family and my mother to the rest of the family? And that thinking would temper what she says to her husband. The point that I'm trying to make is it isn't the event of what the husband did that's the issue. It's that internal dialogue that she had before she responded. And that's the thing that you want to look at in terms of when you're looking for a sister. Does she have that ability to think before she reacts? It doesn't mean you have to marry your cousin, but you want that same attribute, that attribute of emotional regulation.
Yeah. And I actually made a video about that. And that's here. I have a video. It says, I say, women have a PhD in PMS. And what I was basically saying, I was saying the same thing that you said. It's just like women, they they blame their emotions, their menstrual cycle for the way they act towards their husbands, but they can go to work with that same emotional menstrual cycle, whatever else, and they're perfectly fine. I'm like, by the time you are like 18, you've got a minimum of 4 years of study on how to deal with your menstrual cycle on a monthly basis. You have a PhD, you know what I mean? You have a degree in your PMS cycle, so it's like it's not really an excuse. You have, you know. So I like how you said that right there.
Yeah, it's the thinking that gets in the way. And yes, your husband is going to be empathetic to the fact that you're on your cycle, but the reality is you don't demand of your employer to be empathetic. So you make the adjustment and respond accordingly. Again, that same deliberation is all that I think men are asking, and or men, if you're not asking, you should ask that of the women in your life, that they regulate their emotions. They're going to be fallible. They're going to make mistakes, but you have to require, and yes, require, that they're working towards regulating their emotions.
And I think one point I wanted to mention that came to my mind was a particular brother, mashallah, who's learnt the theory, right? So in terms of this idea that you are the leader, you are the man. Essentially, the king doesn't have to say he's the king, right? He lives it. It goes back to the point that brother Abuamerican mentioned, Mehdi mentioned, is that you have to really live this, right? I've seen examples of brothers who learn the theory, read the books, and try to tweak their bio in order to say that I'm a masculine man, I'm this and that, I'm a decision maker, I'm a go-getter. But really, as soon, and brother Abuamerican mentioned this a few times, I think, that when a sister is able to smell that you're not about it, she's able to realize, when speaking to you, that, well, this guy, he says he's the king, but he's not. So it goes back to the black pill argument that we spoke about, is that you really have to go there. And one point I wanted to mention that came to my mind earlier, a very interesting observation. I studied in an Israeli MBA, right? So evening MBA for a while, and I was a bit skeptical of this kind of evening classes. And wallahi, their tarbiyah of their children is unparalleled, right? The Israeli, the Jewish way of raising your children. Self-image psychology, for example, is the fact that you are the best, you are the chosen, you are the chosen children. And one anecdote I wanted to share was this individual, this Israeli entrepreneur. He said that from a young age, what he would do and what he would get his neighbors to do, go from one side of the beach to the other, asking for something ridiculous for the people that were sunbathing, like give me £100 or give me this, just in order to taste failure, just in order to taste rejection, because that is the antidote to success. Success is not just one brick that you put in, oh, success, and then another success and another success. Each success is a wall full of failures with one brick that is success. Like the majority of the bricks are failure, then success. The failures is what you're building your success upon. So we have this very monolith, very weird type of understanding. And it's essentially, as Brother Nasser mentions through his modality, it's the path of least resistance for us to, and black pill is the most comforting ideology for brothers who are not willing to put in the work, for brothers who are complacent, for the brothers who think, you know what, these are the cards that were dealt to me, and I'm gonna be a celibate, or I'm gonna forgive my French, but I'm gonna spunk my life away, right, at home. That in English we say essentially, you subhanallah, letting go of your desires in the haram ways. Why? Because this is the path of least resistance. This is the easy route. This is what shaitan wants you to do, right? And as I mentioned, nobody loses hope apart from the disbelievers, man.
Yeah, Habib, I'm always learning UK slang. So is spunk, is that the word?
Okay, forgive me. That's quite a rude word, subhanAllah, but essentially it's ejaculate, essentially. Spunk means ejaculate.
Regarding the success.
I swear, I literally, in my sessions with my clients, I take notes for little words that I learned from my UK clients. The last one I learned was fortnight. which means 2 weeks. Oh, she mentioned fortnight. What is a fortnight? I'm thinking a video game. No, it means 2 weeks. So yeah, alhamdulillah. Apologies.
Regarding what you mentioned about success, as Dan Pena, the legend billionaire, says, success is like getting pregnant. Everybody is cheering you, but nobody know how many times you have to get fucked to get it. So
Mm,
it is hard. It is hard. And if you want to get success, you have to learn how successful people got success. So nothing is easy in this life. Nothing gonna be easier by time passing. Like the next year not gonna be easier than this one, as this year is not easier than the past one. So things will be more harsh and more harsh. Things will be more difficult and more difficult. So you have to get yourself leveled up
Yeah.
to play the game on a better level. And like we're wrapping here, guys. Like for last thought and the same subject before we wrap up Abu American. Like if you
can
can,
I add one quick point that I would maybe this is something we can come back. Muhammad and I
yeah,
were talking about this earlier. This is something that Coach Cream you mentioned, but it connects to something we were talking about in terms of when a brother is 19 or 20, he doesn't have that high value in the market. And one of the things that sisters do is trip themselves up on their age time restriction, like the category of age, their age standard. And I think one of the things to remember is for brothers who are older that put in the work, brother, you have a large pool of sisters that would be looking for you. And for sisters, I think the place where they again trip themselves up is they've become socialized to only having a 5-year window. And that 5-year window doesn't expose you to those brothers that have put in that work, that don't have that hopeless defeatist mentality, and they've actually leveled themselves up. They've done the work. So it's very important for both brothers and the sisters. Sisters, get out of this age restricted time socialization that you have. Those brothers that don't have this black pill defeatist mentality have put in the work, and that's what you need, right? And brothers that right now that you're younger, understand that it's not to be hopeless or to be defeated mentally. Understand that you just need to make adjustments and increase the value. I think this. I think on maybe another discussion we need to have is this age restriction type thing, because I think it's setting sisters up. It's setting sisters up to not get who they could get at their best market value, to only wake up at 29, 30, 31 when all the brothers, I can't tell you how many brothers I know that
after
are,
the wall, after
yeah,
the wall,
yeah,
we call it the wall.
literally. I got brothers who are 28 to 35 that are put into work that can take care of a wife or two. And when I tell them about a sister who's 30, 29, 30 and up, they're like, no, I'm good.
Yeah,
So, and that's not just one or two brothers. I got a lot of brothers that are saying that. And so sisters just need to wake up early. Wake up
yeah.
early that, yeah, you need to don't do what society tells you that he has to be your age or 2 or 3 years older. No, sis, you got to expand that. Think
Yeah.
beyond self. Think about your quality of life and the quality of your children's life.
On average, it's 5 to 7 year older male partner, like internationally. Women
Mm.
choose 5 to 7 year older male partner, like to marry. Yeah. Go ahead,
And let me
bro.
tell you something, guys, just from experience, just real quick on that last point. Sorry, I know we could keep on dragging this out, but let me tell you something. As a guy who's 50 years old and all my wives are younger than me, it doesn't make a difference. If you take care of yourself, they can't keep up with you. They can't outrun you. They can't outlift you. They can't do nothing that you can't do if you take care of yourself. I don't have a single wife that can run faster than me, jump higher than me, do anything. Your age doesn't matter when it comes to physicality. All my wives, I think all of them have degrees. They all have degrees, don't they? I outthink them all. I never finished my degree. There ain't one that makes more money than me. There's not one that can outthink me. I can literally beat them around the head and the neck intellectually, dude. So yeah, just don't worry about your age on that, guys. Just take care of yourself.
Go ahead, Muhammad. Yeah, you have a lot to say, huh?
With wrapping up now, inshallah. Yeah, is it just last point? Last point is, Coach Kareem. Are we wrapping up now with last points?
Yeah. Last points, and then like we will tell you will tell where people can find you, because
Yeah, inshallah.
people are
So
asking. We can find. Yeah.
this is a multifaceted issue. Alhamdulillah, we looked into a few of the points here. There's a few other things as well. We talked about mahar. We've spoken about facial structure. And essentially losing hope in Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. This is an absolute disaster for brothers, and realizing, particularly for men, you mature like fine wine, my brother. Right? You don't have to look beyond what the ulama have mentioned. What some of the even the Greeks, the great thinkers of the past, they believed that an 18-year-old woman, her match in terms of age was a man up 45 or thereabouts, right? Essentially, in terms of the peaks we're talking about, and just look at sexual market value, you would notice in such a contrasting difference between men and women. لَيْسَ ذَكَرَ كَالْأُنْثَى. The man is not like the woman, and please get this out of your mind and realize that, dear brother, you've got a journey to go on, right? And also, one thing I wanted to mention as a potential quick fix to your solution, right? Dear brothers who are feeling like they have hit a wall somehow, that it's the same type of women coming again and again. Leverage what you have. Do an audit of yourself. What do you have? You've got a German passport. You've got whatever you have, and look abroad. In Ardullahi al-wasi'ah, the earth of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is expansive, right? Why are you limiting yourself to a pool of candidates who are most likely tainted with certain ideologies that you are not a fan of, and Muslims are not a fan of? To look abroad, right? Look abroad, inshallah. That's one thing I wanted to mention, inshallah, and connect with me on finding Muhammad. Wallahi, we're here, the brothers. Nasir, brother Craig, Abuamerican, yourself, Coach Kareem, Mahdi. Wallahi, the intention is here to help you. We're here to help you. We're all ears, inshallah. Drop us a DM, inshallah. Jump on lives. Let us know how things are, inshallah. And we're here to help you in Allah Ta'ala.
I got a point that I forgot, and it is very important. It will never take like more than few extra minutes, which is Abuamerican. I don't know if you as you said, Daniel says feminism is the gateway to disbelief, right? And I'm saying black pillism is the gateway to atheism, and I will tell you why. Because most of them end up believing that, questioning the justice of God. Why? Because you are doomed. You don't have the genetic advantage, you don't have the biological advantage, the symmetrical features, and you can't do anything about it. You can't make yourself taller. So God set you to failure, and you can't do anything about it. So most of the Arab black pillars, like they are very few, but most of them, what I noticed, most of them are atheists, and the majority of them in the West are atheists, and they have high suicide rates. You know why? Because they are nihilists. Like, you are fucked, and you don't have anything to do about it, no matter what. Is that constructive? No, that's very destructive mindset. And you can, like, it will build up like a bracket after bracket to reach in the end to question the God justice. Like, you will start to talk to God, like, why did you create me with these genes? Like, what do I do with this? Like, I will fail. Like, you set me up to failure, so why are you doing this? So they will get this disbelief. It will lead them to be like a Darwinist, believe that superiority in genes, and if you don't have this superiority, like, you're fucked up. You can't do anything about it. Accept your failure. Keep crying in the corner, and like, just keep quiet until you shoot yourself. Like, there's a two of the content creator of the black pills. They shot themselves in the last 3 years, by the way, because they have that mindset. Like, you can't do anything about it. like it biologically determined that you are a failure. Like, if you have anything to add to that, guys.
Just one thing I wanted to say quickly. There's some brothers who I'm coaching a little bit to go out there to do, you know, a cold approach, how to go to networking events, how to speak to women. And, you know, a lot of them have these traits of, you know, being extremely introverted. And I pray that they don't come across this black pill ideology, because they will find comfort in it and they will go down that route, like you're saying. And it's a step-by-step route to going into, na'udhu billah, questioning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rahmah, his mercy, his adl, his being hakam, and all these type of things, and questioning the sifat and asma of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a very good point, Akhi. And you know, barakallah feek. I think inshallah, if we can keep on pushing out this content, brothers will come to this and realize how empowering these concepts are. And one last point I wanted to mention is I see a similarity between these pills, right? The black pill being similar to negative mindset by, you know, Dr. What's his name? Dr. Gervais. He speaks about 3 mindsets. Negative mind being akin to cognitive choking, whereby you believe everything is against me, right? Paranoia, right? Then you've got the red pill, which is essentially growth mindset. But there's something beyond this, which is beautiful, which is only unlocked by I believe by Islam, and that is no mind, where you have tawakkul upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where you know inni ashku bathi wa huzni in Allah, I only complain to my sorrows to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's a new level that is going beyond the red pill as well. So I believe there's a similarity between these 3 levels, inshallah. So you need the red pill to help you, but then go beyond that with Islam, inshallah. And that's one thing I want to say.
If I could
let me just thank the super chatters. There's Mursaleen here, Jazakallah khair, and she's asking Jazakallah khair again for the 5.
You gonna read that? You gonna read that?
Respectfully, Abuamerican could get it.
You gonna read that?
You
gonna read that?
Barakallah, guys. That's one of my wives. That's one of my wives.
The thing is, I want to tell her, yo, do another $4.99 so we can get Coach Green to read it.
Yeah, mashallah. I just married her, mashallah. Barakallah.
Mashallah, mashallah.
Barakallah lakum, barak alaykum, jama'a bainakum bil wad.
So can I just make one point to that? And Mabruk Habib on the marriage. I hadn't lost my train of thought. What was I gonna say? Muhammad, you're the young one. What were you just saying?
Oh man, I was just talking about this. Allahu Akbar. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, the new couple, about the negative mindset, growth mindset, and then going beyond that to no mind, to this kind of flow state, which is, you know,
I got it. I have to stop you before I forget it again. So 2 things, and I'll be very quick. One, for anybody who, you know, wants to look this up, look up shame attacking exercises. Right? Shame attacking exercises. And so, and I'm going to say CBT, but particularly what it is called REBT, Robert Earn Behavior and then Therapy. So REBT. So you know what I'm saying. What it is you go out and you do things that typically might cause or might think may cause you to have shame. But you do it over and over again to get rid of the thinking that produces the shame and the thinking that produces the anxiety and fear. Hence what Muhammad was saying about, look, just going out and just talking to sisters. She says no. But the more you do it, you get over that fear and that anxiety of approaching. And this is what I was talking about earlier, in which what Ellis did. Ellis said it was one summer. He was always getting rejected. He had a fear of approaching women. And he said, you know what? I'm going to sit on this park bench. He was from, I think, Brooklyn, but he did it in Central Park. He said, I'm going to sit in this park bench for the rest of the summer, and I'm going to at least approach 100 women. I don't know if it was a day or if it was throughout the summer. But the point is, he wanted to get over that fear of talking to women, and so that's what developed from him and his model in terms of shame attacking techniques. What you're doing is you're attacking the fear that happens that you create. You create the thinking when you come up to a sister that you believe is in a different category or you believe is a dime. It's the thinking that you create that then creates the fear and the anxiety, the sweaty palms, the heart palpitations, right? It's not the sister. So that's one point. The second point, and more important point, that I think kind of leads to what Coach Kareem was saying is, so within CBT, Ellis talked about, and I'll make this very quick. He had it was an A plus B equals C model. A is the adversity, B is what you think, and C is how you feel and what you do. So what Ellis said is the A, the adversity in life, you don't have control over that. What you have control over is what you think once the adversity happens. You have control over what you think. It's going to influence what you do and how you feel. Again, this is very important. I'm going to just repeat it. The A plus B equals C. A is the adversity you don't have control over. B is what you think, the evaluations you make, you have total control over. It influences the C, what you feel and what you do. Why is this important? I would suggest to you, and what I suggest to my clients is, the A's are the adversities that Allah tells us He's going to give us in life. Allah tells us in the Quran that He is going to test us in terms of our wealth, our livelihood, our family, our children, our resources. And He gives us example of those in the Quran who were tested. The A's, so much so that some of the prophets even said, when is the test of, when is the ease, the comfort, the relief of Allah going to come? So my point is, the A's you don't have control over. Those are the adversity. Those are the tests that Allah says He's going to give you in life. And it may just be in the category of you finding that wife that you want, finding that husband that you want. That just may be your test. You don't have control over that. But what you do have control over is the meanings you make, the evaluations you make once the adversity happens. You can only control this, so focus on this, i.e., focus on your thinking, the evaluation, the meaning you make, because that's going to influence the C. A plus B equals C. Can't control A, you only control B. You control B, you influence C, how you feel and what you do. And then that speaks to what Mahdi was talking about earlier with Andrew Tate, and he said the look in the eye. Right? That comes from you've in control of the B. And so then that influences the C, how you feel and what you do, and your demeanor, your frame. So it's important to understand a modality. Again, this is why I strongly suggest brothers to learn a modality. Because if you get in control of your thinking, you get in control of how you feel and what you do.
Barakallah fik, Akhi Nasser. Okay, last announcement, guys, and then our brothers here will tell you where to find them. I'm gonna start an English-speaking show on my channel that's gonna be weekly every Sunday, and it's gonna be a breakdown series because I have a breakdown in Arabic. That's my weekly show every Monday. I got over than 40 episodes right now. I'm gonna start the English version of it, responding and breaking down from sociological, psychological point of view, behavioral point of view, responding to like some videos and events that got trending. And I tune up for that. I wanna thank Al Saber for the 10 euro super chat. Jazakumullahu khair, brothers. These issues are not addressed here in France to our brothers and sisters. Very beneficial knowledge, alhamdulillah. Barakallah fik, jazakallah khair, akhi. Okay, brother Nasser and brother Muhammad, it's been like an amazing podcast to have you all with us, guys. So starting from brother Nasser here, where people can find you, because one of the chats guys was asking how can we contact him.
Yeah, Habib, I can't go before Muhammad. His name is Muhammad.
I've already said my piece. Jazakallah khair. It's finding Muhammad. You can give me a shout on there. Bidnillah ta'ala. We're here. We want to listen to the brothers, man. We're here to try to find practical solutions. As you know, brother, mashallah, Abuamerican, co-wife.com. It's a tangible solution to the issue that brothers are facing. Brother Nasir, tangible issue to, for sisters to understand the modality, understand how to communicate with a man, how to come to that level of being able to instantiate, right, what's in your mind over here, to be able to understand the market, understand your value, understand not subhanAllah, the worth versus value, being able to be content with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is Brother Nasir, mashallah. Shout out to the brother. And obviously Brother Mahdi as well. Another tangible solution. No strings, nikah. This is subhanAllah such a in demand concept, subhanAllah. Look into that. And for me, I'm here as well. I'm somebody that is inshallah developing something in the background to help brothers and sisters inshallah in this field. Find me at Finding Muhammad, and yeah, just subhanAllah, the one thing that keep coming back to is know your Lord. Wallahi, it's an emotional, subhanAllah, when I hear brothers are losing hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as when Coach Kareem asked the question to us in a Telegram group. I went out there, and like the only thing that brings subhanAllah me to tears, there's hardly anything, but it's this. It's our Rabb, His mercy. Wallahi, man. If you listen to what the ulama mentioned, what they all mentioned, subhanAllah, 1 second, is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-wasi'. So turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most merciful. Jazakumullah khairan.
See, and that's the problem with letting Muhammad go first. It's hard to follow. So with that, he said everything that I need to say and more. So you can find me on Instagram at Nasir Alameen, just my first and last name, as well as online, my site, nasiralameen.com. That's how you can find me. Shoot me a message. We connect. And again, my focus is on helping you to understand and regulate your emotions.
Yeah. Abuamerican, what is the last updates on cowife.com? Come on.
Cowife.com is still up and running. We still consider ourselves in the beta. We're doing updates, but we are up and running. We're live. I met my wife who left the super chat on cowife.com. It works. You can meet a sister there and you can get married. I am the living proof. So, yeah, it's there. Go on, sign up, and hey, let us know if you find something wrong, Message the chat, the IT team is there constantly 24/7. Well, not 24/7, but and we're working on the bugs. Let us know. We're there to try and help you guys out, help us out, help us make something successful. We're trying to help you guys get relationships that turn out successful, inshallah.
Inshallah. بارك الله فيكم جميعا. أشكركم للمتابعة. Thank you very much for staying with us. Thank you, brothers. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi.